Have you ever dated a man, things were going well, and you went in the conversation wanting to know if he was marriage material? You may have asked him, "How do you feel about marriage?" And he could say to you, "Yeah, I love marriage, and I think marriage is beautiful." And you get happy, you get excited, and you say to yourself, "This could be the one." As time goes on, you start to discover little things that he may say that he is not interested in marriage. His words are saying one thing, but his actions are saying something else. With being a woman, on your dating journey, you know the importance of compatibility. You know the importance of a man sharing the same values as yourself. And this time, you want to make sure that you get this dating experience right. I want to speak with you three ways a man says that marriage is a sheet of paper. In the beginning, he may say that he is for marriage, but he may just be saying those things just to please you. And as a woman, it's going to be so important for you to know that a man's words and his actions are actually aligned together. So there could be some deeper root issues when a man says that marriage is a sheet of paper, or when his actions are not showing that he is marriage minded. Remember the relationship lessons that you have learned. Remember all the things that you have been through. And remember the things that God has in store for you and the things that you deserve as a woman. I'm Coach Honeylove, and I teach my clients how to position themselves as wives, how to date marriage minded men, and how to emotionally connect with a man that is truly compatible with who they are today and who they become tomorrow. So when it comes to a man saying that marriage is a sheet of paper or his actions are not aligned, this is what I want to talk to you about to encourage you, to show you why he may be saying the things that he is saying, and for you to make a decision. Do you truly want to deal with a man like this? Do you truly want a man to drag you along and then you get to a certain point and you say to yourself, "Wow, I knew this all along, but I was hoping that he was going to change." This is one of the reasons why I like to encourage my clients to actually pay attention to the green flags, the red flags, and for them to know within their heart that they are making a good decision with the man that they are dating. I want you to know that you can make good decisions with the man that you are dating for you to feel good about the man that you are dating. So let's get into one of the ways that a man says marriage is a sheet of paper. He'll say things like, "I don't want any short term or long term commitments." Now, he may not have said that marriage is a sheet of paper, but if you asked him about relationships, how he feels about relationships, he may say, "Oh, relationships are cool." And then the next day or the day after, he may say, "Yeah, I don't want to be in any short-term or long-term commitments." So he's letting you know that he is not valuing marriage. So as a woman, allow your ears to perk up to things that are very important, and don't allow yourself to dumb things down just because he looks nice, just because he has a nice job, he has a nice career, and he has some of the things that you desire. As a woman, if you truly value marriage and you want to date God's way, that when it comes to dating a man and knowing if he values marriage, he is going to value commitment and he's going to value long term commitments. So if you're talking to him and you're just talking to him about his life and the things that he's doing with his life, if he doesn't have any receipts as to the long term commitments that he's made in his life, or if everything has always been short term, that can also too point that he has issues with long-term commitments. And when you think about marriage, marriage is a long-term commitment. And a man that is full of integrity, honesty, and transparency, he knows the importance of him being committed to something. And when it comes to marriage, him being committed to God and him being committed to you is going to be so important. So if he has issues with commitment and he doesn't like any long-term commitments, he doesn't like any short-term commitments, he could actually be communicating to you that he is not marriage material. And so you want a man who values marriage. You want a man who knows where he's going and how he's going to get there. You want to date a man that has a plan and so much more. Number 2 is some marriages end before they start. So why get married in the first place? So this type of guy, he has either grew up in a family that his mom and dad may have been divorced, or some of his family members, the couples in his family have gotten divorced, or maybe he grew up in a neighborhood where he saw couples being together, married, and then they get a divorced, or maybe he has friends as far as like in college years or even adult years where they've gotten married and they've gotten a divorce. And so through his lens, he says to himself, oh, wow, some marriages end before they start. So why get married in the first place? And let me say this is that when it comes to this, when a man is looking at other people's marriages and he reflects and said, "Oh, if they couldn't do it, then I know that I can't do it." Or if he looks at other people's marriages and he says to himself, "Well, they were arguing all of the time. They kept getting together, breaking up, getting together, breaking up. So they were doomed even before they got married." And with his lens, he thinks to himself, well, if I argue with the woman and we keep on arguing, why get married? If we are in a relationship and either I decide to break up with you or you decide to break up with me, if we keep on being on and off again, why get married in the first place? Because what he's doing, he's communicating to you that he's fearful of marriage based on other people's experiences or based on his experience, and he has a fear of divorce. So if he doesn't know that with God all things are possible, if he doesn't know that when you have a fully committed man, a fully committed woman, and you get married based on your values and you stick in it in a season and out of season in the sense of there are going to be good seasons and there are going to be challenging seasons. But no matter the season, when the two of you are together, you are fully committed. So when a man says to you, some marriages end before they start, so why get married in the first place? Like he has already made up his mind that he would rather be comfortable being in a relationship, not get married, because he wouldn't want to get a divorce. Now, I'm going to say this that is not your responsibility. Be with a man that's not afraid of getting married, who wants to get married, who values his relationship with God, and who values marriage. When you do this, you're going to have so much peace. You're going to be satisfied, and you're going to know that you have made a good decision with being with a man who has his mind already made up that he wants a wife, that he wants a family, that he wants a legacy, and that he wants to build long term with a woman like you. So if a man cannot value marriage and you value marriage, it's plain and simple, you're not compatible. So you have to make a decision. Is that someone you want to deal with? Is that a problem that you want to actually see snowball and have those challenging times, even in the beginning of the dating stages? So if he says this, my question to you is that a red flag for you if you value marriage? So think about that. The next way that a man says that marriage is a sheet of paper without saying it is, I didn't see my parents have a good marriage, so chances are I won't either. A lot of people experience hurt when they see their parents get a divorce. A lot of people go into relationships with a broken heart as to how their parents got a divorce in their marriage. So if he sees that his parents got a divorce, or if he sees that his parents did not have a good marriage, he already is operating out of a broken heart and has already made up in his mind that chances are, if his parents didn't have a good marriage, if his parents got a divorce, that he will too, because there is such a strong family tie there. And so, what I'm going to say is this, is that it is not your job to heal a man. It is his responsibility to allow God to heal his heart and to allow God to help him with his brokenness. So, you want a man who is able to come into a dating experience or a relationship that is healed or who wants to be healed, that shows you the initiative that he is willing to do the work when it comes to himself, when it comes to being in a relationship with you, in hopes that you will be able to get married to the man of your dreams. I want to share with you a couple of things when it comes to things that I would love for you to remember. Number one is this, is that your future husband will value his relationship with God, you, and your future marriage. A man who is marriage minded, he's going to have a relationship with God. He's going to know the importance of a role of a husband. And so, in the early dating stages, within 90 days, when you want to see his viewpoint about marriage, you're not asking him about would he marry you? No, you're asking him about his view about marriage. And I'm going to share with you a few questions that you can actually ask a man when you are dating him within 90 days. So stick around for those questions. Now, when it comes to a man and him valuing his relationship with God, he wants to do the right thing. When it comes to him valuing you, he wants to do right by you. He wants to love you, respect you, support you, give you companionship, have a good relationship, and he wants to give you the reassurance that he is going to be there for you as well as you be there for him. Not only that, he has marriage values, and it also speaks to his family values. So, this is the type of man that you want to be with. When a man says marriage is a sheet of paper, or my parents didn't have a good marriage, so why would I have a good marriage? He doesn't value marriage because of his brokenness, because of unforgiveness, and because there are some pieces in his heart that needs to be healed. He can only be healed by God. He cannot be healed by you. You can be an amazing, feminine, nurturing woman, okay? But it is not your job to heal a man. Also, I want you to remember this is you are not going to have to convince your future husband to value marriage because he is decisive. He is going to be decisive about you. He is going to be decisive that you are his choice, you are his person. He's going to be decisive that he is going to go in this thing and that this is it. You are it. Your future marriage is it. God being in your marriage, that is it. He's going to be decisive. He's not going to be a man that's on the fence and can't make up his mind or tells you one thing and you see that he does another thing. That's inconsistency. You want a man who is marriage minded and who is serious, who is decisive, and who wants to do the right thing. Now, you're not going to have to convince a man. You shouldn't have to. Your husband is already going to come prepared, prepared to be with you, prepared to protect, provide, and pursue you in the dating stages. And here's another thing I want you to remember your value is not in a man, it's in God. If he doesn't believe in marriage, that's his problem, and it is not yours. Okay? So your value is not in a man. You have to know who you are. You have to be a confident woman. You have to know who you are in God. And when it comes to a man not believing in marriage, that's his problem. Don't allow yourself to make his problem your problem. Let a man be a man, solve his own problems. If you see that he has a problem and you want to talk about it, great. If you don't want to talk about it, pray for him. But don't try to come in with masculine energy trying to solve his problems. Let him show you that he knows how to solve his own problems. If he wants to say marriage is a sheet of paper, fine. He may not be the man for you. But when a man is already ready, prepared, he has his stuff together, he has all his T's crossed and I's dotted, that's the type of man that you want to be with. He's not going to be perfect, but he's going to be the one that you want to be with because he has been preparing. So have you. You've been working on your mindset, you've been getting healed, you've been praying, you've been working on your finances, you've been working on your family. You have been doing this thing for a short or a long time. Now you are dating with a purpose and you want to date a man that is marriage minded. A man who says, marriage is a sheet of paper. Don't allow yourself to make his problem your problem. Don't try to convince him. Don't try to change his mind. Don't try to make yourself seem like, okay, well, I want him to see my value. I want him to see my worth. No, ma'am. Your value is not in a man. Your value is in God. So, I want to share with you some dating questions that you can ask a man within 90 days. I want to empower you. I want to help you to either shorten the dating process for a man that's not for you or to help you know that you are making a good decision and you can feel good about the decisions that you are making by being with this type of man who is marriage minded. These questions are going to help you to see a man's character because a man's character speaks volumes. So here's the question. What are your thoughts about finding a wife? The word says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." Is his response matching up with what the word says? Ask him, "What are your thoughts about it?" You're going to know if he's looking for a wife. You didn't ask him, "So, what are your thoughts about making me your wife?" You didn't ask that. You ask him, "What are your thoughts about finding a wife?" You're going to know if he's been reading scriptures. You're going to know if he's been thinking about having a family and having a family in a marriage, whether if that's a blended family or having a family with you. And it's going to help bring you some reassurance. It's going to help you to understand how he's been thinking about dating, how he's been thinking about having a family and having a marriage with a woman like you, possibly. The next question is, how did you grow up thinking about marriage? Okay. You're going to hear things about how he grew up, maybe his college years, or even now. And so when he shares with you about how he feels about marriage when he was growing up, it's going to let you know how he's been thinking. And so come up with some things that you would love to hear your future husband say. And that could be a sign from God that he is your future husband. And isn't that going to feel great? Isn't that going to give you the reassurance that you are looking for? I'm sure it will. Now, the next question, the final question is, what value do you find in a good marriage? You're going to see how he values marriage. He can say to you, "Well, I want to do the right thing. I don't want a woman to be my girlfriend forever. I want to have a wife. I want to have a family. I want to have a blended family. I want to have stability. I want our family, my future wife and myself, I want to have a family where we are able to call a house a home. I want to be in a relationship, a long-term relationship, a covenant God's way by being married." So you're going to see the things that he values. And it's going to be so important for you to know how a man values marriage. It's going to be important for you to know how he's been thinking about marriage as he's been growing up, how he's been dating with intention, as well as what does he value about marriage. A man who does not value marriage, he's just going to think that it's just a sheet of paper. And for you, you know that's not true. You know that's not true. You know that marriage can be beautiful. You know that you actually may be curious about dating a man who's marriage minded, and you're curious about what would it feel like to be with a man that's compatible with me. What will it feel like to be with a man and to be married? You know what it feels like to be a girlfriend. You know what it feels like to be in a long term commitment that may not even go anywhere. But this time, you actually want to date with intention. You want to date with a man where you have chemistry, where you are compatible, and where you feel like you guys are aligned, you are in sync with each other. And when you are able to do that, that is going to show you signs that the man that you are dating is possibly your future husband. Now, there are going to be telling signs in the beginning within 90 days. If you value marriage, Give yourself permission to ask a man these types of questions. You need reassurance early. You need to know how he feels about marriage early. Don't go 6 months and then you don't know how he feels about marriage because it's not like you're asking him to marry you. No, like you're asking him, what are your thoughts about marriage? What do you value about marriage? It's going to give you the reassurance and it's going to let you know the quality, the character of the man he is. And for you, that's important. You deserve that. You need that. And when I help my clients in the Honey Love Dating Academy who are members, let me tell you, when their husbands find them, they know the questions that I gave them help them to understand the type of man that they were dating. You need that. So I hope that this has helped you. Put in the comment section what you like about the video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.